Hey you guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Quick little preface. Sorry I didn't have videos up last week. I filmed fine and then I woke up Saturday to edit and then it wasn't in focus, and by that time I was getting down with the cold. I'm still kind of getting over it. So I just was like, I can't. So here we are, and those videos I did film are going to be refilmed and put up, so it's fine. One of them is going up sometime this week. The other one will be going up next week. So it's okay. We're okay. But today's video is going to be on my September wrap-up, and I actually read 5 books in September, so we're just going to go with it and roll, and let's get into it. So starting off with the book that I do have but don't have. It's what happens when your depressing library doesn't have a bookshelf, so you can't really pull things out. But that is, I did a reread of The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Now this is a reread, so this is probably my 4th time rereading this book, I'm not gonna lie. I have the last book, The Raven King, but I haven't had a chance to pick it up yet, and I want to go through and reread the books just to make sure I have everything down before I go ahead and read the last book and just be confused and heartbroken all over again, but it's fine. But this one is narrated by Will Patton, and if you don't know, The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater follows Blue Sergeant as she goes about her life knowing that one day her kiss will end up killing her true love, so you know, not a lot of kissing happening there, but what are you gonna do? And then she runs into these group of boys from Aglenby, it's a prep school, who are currently in search of a Welsh king named Glendower, who according to one of them should be sleeping somewhere around Virginia. But I gave this one, I believe, a 5 out of 5 stars. I haven't finished my review for it yet, so that should be up before this video goes up. But gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought Will Patton did a wonderful job. I adored Maggie's writing, and definitely, if you can, I would recommend doing the audiobook instead of the physical book, or doing them both, because sometimes Maggie's writing does get a little dense and you do get lost in it sometimes, and not in a good and a bad way, because both good and bad, because my brain doesn't sometimes work with super dense and poetic writing. It just kind of gets lost somewhere there, so hence why I have reread these books several times on top of my just overall loving it, because I would just forget things. But Will Patton did a wonderful job getting the point across, reading all of these things, and if you can hear my cat eating, I'm really sorry, but he is apparently hungry, and I'm not going to deny him of his food. Again, he is wonderful. I loved his way that he read the books, and I know he has narrated the 2nd book, and I'm waiting for it in my library, so hopefully I'll get that soon, and I will have more thoughts on that later. Wonderful characters, fleshed out, heartbreaking, even though I knew it was going to happen in a lot of parts, super heartbreaking, and I couldn't handle it, but it's fine. We're here, we're alive. We're good. The next book I read in September is Winter by Marissa Meyer, and this is the concluding book to the Lunar Chronicles series, not including the novella that comes right after it. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I loved where all the characters were going. I loved how fleshed out they had gotten. I loved the plot, but I did have some, I also enjoyed how she incorporated the original Cinderella, Snow White myth, in there. Fairy tale, myth, it's whatever, I'm a mess, it's fine. I loved it so much, but I think what kind of dinged me in finishing this book, or fully giving it a 5 out of 5 stars more so, is that sometimes it ended up, there were some things that you had to have read the novella for, and that to me was kind of annoying, because I know not a lot of people, like myself included, will go out of my way to read novellas unless they fully, unless they get super good reviews, or I'm just that into the series. And I felt like there were some information that we should have gotten in this book to flesh out the Levana a bit more that happened in Ferris, which was the novella, and it didn't happen, not even a bit of like a hint or something, which I thought was a shame, because I think Levana could have been a very fleshed out and very complex villain, but without that information in the book, she just felt very flat to me overall. So like I said, 4 out of 5 stars, would highly recommend. The ending was still but I will leave more of my thoughts in my Goodreads review, which you will see linked down below. The next book that I read during the month of September, which I realized somehow September dragged on, but was also really fast, because I forgot that I read this book in September, and that is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, this is the first book in the Crazy Rich Asians, I believe, trilogy. I finally have the 2nd book. And it follows Rachel Chu as she follows her boyfriend to Singapore for a wedding that they have been invited to, and realizes that not only is he stinking rich, but he's also like, but his family's also up the butt about who he should be with. Now I give this, I believe, a 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed this book. I thought the characters were so great, and I definitely enjoyed like kind of like the funny aspect of it, the satirical aspect of it. The one thing that dinged me was the footnotes and the family tree, but I will have talked more about that in my wrap-up, in my tea talk for Crazy Rich Asians, which I will link up above and down below, so you guys can go ahead and enjoy all of my thoughts. And also, the movie is pretty freaking great, so if you haven't seen it, def recommend. The next book that I read in the month of September is one that I have been talking about nonstop, sort of, not really, and that, well, a little bit of nonstop, sort of not nonstop, but that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now this is an adult contemporary novel. I don't necessarily know the actual genre it goes in, but it follows 2 different point of views. Evelyn Hugo, as she kind of goes through her life and explains it to the reporter, who is second point of view. Monique Grant, who is a downtrodden, kind of doesn't have a lot going for her reporter, who kind of uses this as kind of her opportunity. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved every single minute of this book. I thought it was so great, so heartbreaking, and just absolutely wonderful. But I will leave more of my thoughts for this book in my tea talk, which you can also find up above and down below if you haven't seen it already. The last book that I read in September is one I completely forgot that I had read this in September. It just feels like it's been that long. But this book has completely wrecked me. I have a Pinterest board on it. I can't stop talking about it. Literally, if you mention their names, I will probably start crying, and I have started crying. But that book is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Now this is a retelling, adult retelling, of the Achilles myth, which has us follow it through Patroclus's eyes. Yes, Patroclus? But I can't pronounce it, and you think I would know, but it's fine. Patroclus's eyes as he and Achilles go forth into the Trojan War, as well as them kind of growing up. Gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. It broke my heart into a million pieces. I am not over this book. And if you have read this book or are planning to read this book, 1, either let's chat about it in the comments, or 2, read it right now so we can chat about it in the comments. But highly recommend, 5 out of 5. And if you want more of my thoughts, I will leave my tea talk up above and down below. And I just realized I have like over 3 tea talks for this month. But I don't see you guys complaining, because I'm sure you guys probably would have liked some information on the books that I have read. But that is it for the books that I have read in September. I can't believe it's October already, this spooky month. Hopefully my spooky TBR is up to par with everyone else's, but I doubt it because I'm not much of a mood reader. But if you have read any of these books, or any of these books you want to have read or would like to read in the future, or are a little hesitant on and want more information and more thoughts, leave a comment down below and we can go ahead and chat about them, or you can just see my other tea talks for some of them. Other than that, all my information is in the description box, and if you want to follow me, please do. I try to have more information on kind of what's going on with my videos and life and all that stuff, and like what I'm currently reading both in my Instagram and in my Twitter. So it's at BookishTherese. And then subscribe. I try to upload every Saturday and Wednesday unless I get sick or something happens, in which case probably should be following me on one of my social media so you know what's going on. But other than that, I'll see you guys on Wednesday with a new video, and hopefully the lighting gets better for next Saturday's video, but doubt it. Until then, bye.